The Northern Senators Forum has disowned Abdul Ningi, its chairman, and senator representing Bauchi Central, over the allegation that the 2024 budget was padded. At the weekend, Ningi said huge damage has been done to the North and the entire country through the budget. The National Assembly had passed a budget of 28.7 trillion for the 2024 fiscal year. President Bola Tinubu had proposed 27.5 trillion, but the lawmakers jacked it up by 1.2 trillion naira. Meanwhile, three senators, Steve Karime, Titus Zam, and Kakasheo at the weekend, said the allegation of budget padding against Senate President Godswill Akpabio by some senators was unfounded, baseless, and a figment of imagination. However, Senator Ningi, who appeared on our late-night program Newsnight on Monday, insisted that he was misquoted, stating that he did not speak on behalf of the Northern Senators Forum as chairman.
I was misquoted. That's why I said I was misrepresented. That means the entire press release from the presidency was not based on the interview they have had. And I was very clear. In that interview, there was no time I said the presidency or the president was implementing two budgets. The version here, there was no time I said Bola Tinubu was against the North. There was no time I said I was representing the Northern Senators Forum. The introduction of that program, I said, my name is Senator Abdul Ningi, a PDP member representing Bauchi Central. And I'm speaking on myself, for myself.
Also, in a report put together by a Rice correspondent, Omo Bazuaye, Senator Ningi said he has his facts and is not afraid of being suspended for speaking the truth.
Trouble brews inside the Nigerian Senate, and it is not unconnected with the controversy over the alleged padding of the 2024 budget to the tune of 3 trillion naira.
Everything that you had.
And in the middle of the controversy, Senator Abdul Ningi, representing Bauchi Central, briefing journalists on Monday, Ningi sticks to his words that a whopping 3 trillion naira can't be traced in the budget, even as he feels compelled to clarify misinterpretation in some quarters, especially the presidency, about the interview he granted to BBC in Hausa. First, Ningi said he didn't speak on behalf of the Northern Senators Forum, pointing out strongly that he's capable of carrying his own cross.
If it is a cross I have to carry, I'll carry it. I'm not afraid of anything. Anything. I believe in one God, and I believe power is transient. I believe what we are doing, all of us, is temporary. I'm not scared of whatever you hear. I'm not scared of any issue like suspension. I've been out of the Senate for 8 years. And people had to force me back. It's not an issue. Some of our friends were removed by tribunals. They're living their lives. If because I said what I would say, if because I said what I said, then I'll be suspended. So please be it. It will be an honor. And for me to be suspended by whatever body for speaking as a parliamentarian, it will be a very great honor.
The outspoken senator said there was no time in the interview. He said the president was implementing two budgets and that he was biased against the North. But he admits saying that the president lacks deep understanding of the Nigerian situation before he took charge. Ningi said, based on his personal findings, 25 trillion naira can be verified and accounted for in the 2024 budget based on projects, monies, and location. However, he insisted that the remaining 3.7 trillion naira in the budget cannot be so verified, damning the possibility of being suspended for his action.
At no time did I say Bola Tinubu is implementing 25%, 25 trillion budget. The Hausa version is there. And I also said, in the course of our perusing the budget, which Onanuga seems to have dwelt on, I say we have established beyond reasonable doubt about 25 trillion so far has nexus in the budget. That means there is money, and then there is project, and then there is location. Money, project, location. But we are yet to ascertain 3 trillion of that budget. We have established the 3 trillion in the budget. We have not established its location.
Moments after, Senator Jimoh Ibrahim told journalists that Ningi was lying, only being economical with words to save his face. Ibrahim called on the Senate and the Inspector General of Police to institute court proceedings against Ningi for what he describes as criminal negligence and criminal misinformation.
Senator Ningi should be charged for criminal negligence, misinformation, as well as conduct likely going to cause breach national peace of Nigeria. So these two charges must come. Let me tell you, it's not about anybody. If the president of the Senate decide to do nothing, no problem. I will send my letter to the IGP. If IGP decide to do nothing, I will bring a motion for mandamus, compelling a public officer to perform that job that he has to do. These charges will happen, whether you like it or not.
All eyes will be on Tuesday's plenary, when the Senate is expected to meet officially on the matter. Omo Bazwai, Rise News.
Joining us now on the morning show is Senator Titus Zam, member representing Benue Northwest Senatorial District, chairman, Senate Committee on Rules and Business, and a member of the Northern Senators Forum. Good morning, Senator Zam, and thank you for joining us on the morning show. Well, quickly, Senator.
Good morning,
yes.
Abati.
Yes, morning. Thank you
Yes.
for joining us. Well, Senator,
Yes.
can you help us make sense of what Senator Ningi is saying? He says 3.7 trillion, and he insists on that. It's not captured in the budget,
Yes.
and that is his point. He has tried to walk back on, backtrack on some of the other points he made. He says he's not speaking on behalf of Northern Senators Forum. So can you help us make sense of how that 3.7 trillion that he says there's money, there's location, there is project? That's one. Number two, is the Senate going to take up the matter this morning? Because I thought I saw something like that. What should we expect on the floor of the Senate?
Yes. Well, let me say my dear brother and colleague in the Senate, Senator Abdul Ningi, has reorganized his thinking processes, and he has decided to beat a fast retreat because he has discovered suddenly that the route he was taking will lead him to nowhere. I want to begin by saying I am a proud member of the Northern Senators Forum, and I was at the meeting where Senator Ningi led us, Northern Senators, to meet with the Senate President over this allegation of budget padding. It is surprising now that he has decided to run away from the route he took of speaking for the Northern Senators. But if he has chosen to beat a retreat, he should also be honorable enough to accept that what he said or what he had set out to do is not achievable, and so he wants to be pardoned. We met at the plenary last week, Thursday, after which Senator Ningi told us, Northern Senators, that we were going to meet with the Senate President, Senator Godswill Akpabio, over certain infractions that he allegedly discovered in the budget. We were up to 27. We came to the Senate President, and Abdul Ningi presented a document purporting to be a report from a consultant that was hired to study the budget and report back to us. And we were all there. He presented this document, but said the document was only an interim report, that a full report will be presented to the Senate President, where it will be established that some fractions occurred in the 2027 budget. And I watched the Senate President's mien. He was calm. Senator Akpabio did not present himself like someone who was troubled by the alleged budget pardon. He was very calm and collected. When Abdul Ningi finished his presentation, Senator Akpabio said, "You said this is only an interim report, that more findings are being done, after which you will present a comprehensive report. So when you are able to present that your comprehensive report, I will also undertake a similar scrutiny of your report in order to establish the veracity or otherwise of your allegations." But we agreed in the Thursday meeting with the Senate President that since this document is not yet authenticated, nobody should go to the press over it, because the finding may go one way or the other. It may be a mere ruse. And we were all taken aback. On Friday, many online platforms were inundated by reports of alleged 3 trillion naira budget pardon by Senator Akpabio, purporting to have been discovered by Senator Abdul Ningi. So, Abdul Ningi has come across as someone who is not objective, who is not sincere, and who is not straightforward. And I told you earlier, he presented the report as the chairman of Northern Senators Forum, which I belong to, and I listened to him. If today, following the backlash from many of our Northern compatriots who distance themselves from that chariot, he had decided to say he will bear his own cross, I wish him good luck. But I think it is proper to conceptualize the person of Senator Abdul Ningi as someone who speaks from two sides of the mouth. Having said that, it is not true that there is anything like budget pardon. The president of this country, through his spokesperson, has already established that he presented 27 trillion naira budget. Nobody has disputed that. And that it is the National Assembly that an additional 1 trillion plus, was added to the figure earlier presented. At the end of the day, the nation was presented with a 28 trillion naira budget. And that is the official document we have. I want to put it to Abdul Ningi to tell us where he has gotten the so-called 25 trillion naira budget. Because the budget process begins with the executive arm of government. It is the executive arm of government that prepares the document and presents to the National Assembly for scrutiny. The authors, the originators of the budget is the executive branch of government. And if the owners of the document are saying, we presented 27 trillion naira and the National Assembly added 1 trillion naira to it, totaling 28 trillion naira plus. How come that Abdul Ningi is talking about 25 trillion naira budget? I think that is up to him to establish. He is insisting on locations that some figures are not attached to. Abdul Ningi does not even know that there are certain statutory transfers that don't have locations. Monies are located to INEC, monies are allocated to judiciary, and so on. You will not find it in North Central, in Kwara, in Benue, or in North East, in Bauchi, or in Ministry A and B. So some of these things, you require some level of accounting knowledge, some level of understanding of the budgeting process. Abdul Ningi himself is a member of the appropriation committee. I am also a member. We sat jointly with the House of Representatives to scrutinize the document brought to us from the executive branch of government. Why is Abdul Ningi setting out Senator Akpabio for vilification. This document was prepared not by Senator Okpabio. It was presented to us in the Senate, and we had joint sessions with members of the House of Representatives. So why would Abdul Ningi set out, to heap the whole blame, even if there is any infraction whatsoever, as of now there is none. And I want to say on good authority, as a member of the Preparation Committee, that there is nothing like budget pardon. And so I want to discountenance this issue, and I want to tell the whole world that Abdul Ningi is not telling the truth. He is out on the worst form of partisanship and the worst form of political mischief. You asked about what will happen in the plenary today. Well, it all depends on the disposition of the Senate President. But there are issues that have to do with the privileges of Senate. The Senate is governed by relevant rules encapsulated in our Senate rules as our own guiding norms. So if some senators feel that their privileges are violated and they want to take it up, good and fine. The Senate President would only rule on the general opinion of members of the Senate in relation to this uncomplimentary disposition of our colleague, distinguished Senator Abdul Ningi. So that is what I would say at this moment. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Senator Zam. Just for clarity, since you mentioned that you and Senator Abdul Ningi were members of the Appropriation Committee, was there at any time in the process of looking through the budget, did he raise concerns about these allocations without location, or the fact that there were some missing links in the budget? Was there any time he raised this?
No, he never did that. He never did that. That is why I put it to him, because he is a member of the Appropriation Committee, and I'm also a member of the Northern Senators Forum. When on Tuesday, Abdul Ningi began this politics of allegations of budget pardon, and he brought it to us in the meeting, we said, well, this is fantastic. If you have proofs, bring it forward. He told us that, the consultant has not finished the work.
Okay, so he did bring an allegation.
He brought the allegation only in the Northern Senators Forum meeting of Tuesday, not in the during the budgeting process.
All right.
Not that time. I'm talking about last week. Okay, the budget has since been passed and signed into law.
All right. So, again,
he did not raise any issue as at that time.
Since he didn't raise this, I can now understand when you talk about this being some form of mischief. But I'd like to ask you, there were also some statements he made, when he was speaking to the Hausa service, and he said that the budget seemed to be anti-North. The allocations didn't seem to favor that region of. Is there any merit? Is this the feelings of the Northern Senators Forum?
Well, I don't think that is true. That's not true, because budget in Nigeria is not done according to regions. There are sectorial allocations: Ministry of Health, Ministry of Education, Ministry of Agri, and all of that. This contraption of the not being favored by the budget is also a figment of the imagination of Abdul Ningi, because Nigeria is not run on regional basis. We have a federal system of government that consists of local government, states, and the center. So I don't know how he has come with that contraption of the not being favored. That is why some of us who are members of the Northern Senators Forum had to quickly distance ourselves from the kind of politics Abdul Ningi has set out to play. If you look at the transcribed version of the BBC Hausa service interview, he made a lot of uncomplimentary statements against the ruling party. He began by saying he is PDP, and that the Northern Senators platform that he chairs consists of members of the ruling party. So it will be difficult for him to use that platform, to play opposition politics. You understand? But he ended up saying that is the only available medium for him to do what he has set out to do. So I want to say here that the man has just set out to play PDP politics against the ruling party. And he has done it in the most incoherent and a disorganized manner.
Okay, so you're saying he set out to play PDP politics. Let's just drill back into the budget. Do you, at the appropriation committee,
Yes.
did you see any imbalance in the budget? So when you check all the line item by line item and juxtapose it, does it balance at 28.7 billion? That's number one. Number two, he says he has some consultants.
Yes, it does.
So it balances till the end, right?
Yes.
So he says he has some consultants.
Yes.
He says he has some consultants.
The executive, sorry, sir.
Go ahead, sir. Go ahead, sir.
As the executive branch of government brought 27 trillion naira budget, and the National Assembly also added 1 trillion naira, making a total of 28.27. And so, item by item, it tallies. The 25 trillion naira is a figment of his imagination.
Okay, so the budget balance is till the end. He said he has some people that are looking into the budget. Does he also have some forensic expert looking into it to be able to see where this 3-point-something billion he's talking about that doesn't balance? Have you asked him that? And also, have you also asked him to bring a detailed report as regards that? And what would you fellow Northern senators do? Because Senator Ningi has tried to divide the country, because what he did was deliberate. He went on the BBC Hausa service and started talking about divisive politics on the Hausa service, which was inflaming the already inflamed country with passion. You know, are you saying Northern senators going to throw him out of the association or totally denounce him like you've done? Or say, you know what, he should step down and stop talking for you? Because that was a point of divisiveness, and that's condemnable.
Yes. That is preemptive at this stage of my interaction with you. But if you remember, three of us, my humble self, Senator Dr. Titus Zam, Senator Stephen Karimi, and Senator Kakashiu, all of us are Northern senators. We were very quick to dissociate ourselves from this contraption. And many other senators from the North followed suit in saying, no, this is not what we set out to do. We said, yes, we are correct to draw attention to the need for the North to be developed like any other part of the country. But that has to be done within the ambit of decency. What, as you rightly pointed out, what my dear friend and colleague Abdul Ningi has set out to do is to create chaos in the Senate for whatever purposes he wants to achieve. It is now clear that he's out for some mischief. And the Northern senators are going to review this situation and will take a proper position. But by the disposition of my colleagues, as at yesterday, and shortly after he went to the media, it's very clear that he does not fit to lead us. Unless he convinces us beyond doubt that he has any other thing up his sleeves, he may have committed a very big moral blunder, not befitting of a ranking senator of his supposed pedigree. And the results will be determined in the course of time.
Has he submitted any report, or have you seen any report that does a detailed and also a forensic work on the budget itself from those his consultants? And who are his consultants?
There is none like that. There is none like that. Abdul Ningi himself told us before the Senate president that this is an ongoing process, that his so-called consultant had not even completed scrutinizing the budget, and that the conversation would continue. That is why the Senate president, in his wisdom, said, okay, when you are done with your exercise of budget scrutiny, please bring the reports to me. And then I will also take a review of the document so that we operate on the same page. Beyond that, there are relevant National Assembly committees that will also look at your own allegations and then come out with a clear position. It is in the middle of this conversation that the gentleman went to the media, and that's why I suspect mischief. So the job, even on his own part, is still ongoing. He has not completed the job, and he was quick to go to the press. And not any press, BBC, Hausa service. You can say that there is even an ethnic card he's trying to play. I don't think he speaks good English. Arise is here. TVC is there. channels, AIT. He went to where? BBC Hausa service. What does he want to achieve? By going to a platform that is ethnic in nature, that is language-based, to present his own case. It means, as you rightly said, he's out to divide the Senate and even divide the country by extension, which is most unfortunate and very unbecoming of someone that swore to the Constitution to defend it and serve the country in its totality.
Senator, well, Senator Ningi has already said he's ready to face the consequences of his actions, which, is where he stands. But he also alleged in some of the interviews he has granted in which he was trying to backtrack, that what he said was lost in translation, that he didn't say, the president is biased. He didn't say, that there were two appropriation acts, and he tried to explain himself. Well, we don't speak Hausa. I assume that maybe you speak Hausa. Have you listened to what he said on BBC? Now that he said this, he didn't say that. I mean, he's not the only person who speaks Hausa language. So is the senator just trying to deceive us because of the backlash? I don't want to say that.
Yes, Abdul Ningi is on a return. Yes, I want to say that Abdul Ningi, with due respect to him, he's on a return journey. That the journey that he has found very distasteful, and that he's just trying to look smart in the midst of the backlash of the inglorious part he took earlier on. The English version of that Hausa interview, which was posted on our Northern Senators platform, Abdul Ningi accepted it in totality as what he said. And the content of even the English version that he held up was also obnoxious, offensive, unbecoming, distasteful, and condemnable. Abdul Ningi alleged that the president of this country does not know the complex nature of the country he came out to lead. He made such uncomplimentary remarks, but now he's recanting everything. So it's difficult that even if you speak Hausa and you listen to him, he would still say that is not his voice. So I want us to properly conceptualize this person. I think he's someone who has set out to cause some mischief, and in sensing that he cannot achieve it, he's not running away even from his words. So it doesn't matter whether one hears Hausas and one listen to what he said and did not listen. But the fact of the matter is that he is on an inglorious return trip. And that is why he even beat a retreat by saying he's not going to speaking on behalf of the Northern Senators Forum. But when he led out to see the Senate President, he spoke as the leader of the Northern Senators Caucus. So I want to say this is not someone to be trusted any longer.
Okay, we hear you in terms of trust, in terms of the damage this could have caused. And to be fair, irrespective of him tracing his steps back, the damage has been done, or at least a measure of damage has been done. The conversation is about budget padding, about unfairness, inequality across grounds. And I don't know if he has the opportunity again to go back and conduct an interview speaking to his audience that this isn't what he actually meant when he was speaking. But in order to serve as a deterrent, one would want to assume that both the Northern Senators Forum, the Senate itself, and I know you've talked about there being standing rules, but there must be a stance against this, and perhaps even in a heavy sanction against this. And he said he's not afraid of any repercussions following this. But there must be something to deter in the future any senator waking up and accusing the House or the Senate of saying, okay, you did this, you didn't that. What are those measures? At least you can speak. Are there conversations within the NSF, the Northern Senators Forum, or even today, later on during plenary? I'm sure the world is watching to see what would be the outcome of that. But as at now, any conversations as to sanctions or even calling him to order so that this kind of behavior following investigations would not occur again?
There are two approaches to this, as you rightly observed. The first approach would be our own caucus, the Northern Senators Forum, which he leads, we will definitely take a review of this situation when we are done with today's sitting. And then I'm sure many people will caution Abdul Ningi against this uncomplimentary conduct of his and his mischief, to put it bluntly. I'm sure the Northern Senators Forum will definitely take a second look at this situation and caution him, because we had warned him against going to the media. That has been violated by himself. And then the Senate, that's the second approach. The Senate institution will not fold her arms and watch one of them set out to destroy our unity, our cohesion, with blackmail and sheer mischief. But as I said, that will be preemptive. For now, we are going to sit in the few minutes to come, and then the Senate relevant rules may be applied. And I say I don't want to preempt the Senate because I'm not the leader of the Senate, there's a Senate president, but I earlier told you that the Senate functions on the basis of the decision of majority of the senators sitting in. So issues of privileges are already being considered. Some people feel that the outing of Abdul Ningi amounts to a violation of their pedigree, collectively as a Senate and individually as senators. So when we get to that bridge, we will cross it. But it all depends on his disposition.
Okay. So for the sake of balance, because we in the media are known for balance, let's give Senator Ningi the benefit of doubt. I mean, some things we disagree with is the divisive rhetoric. But what if his consultants finish the job and they notice discrepancies in the budget? In a case scenario, I'm not saying his consultants are going to finish the job and they're going to notice any discrepancy anyway. Yes. In a case where they notice that, will you be willing to apologize to him?
Is it between me and him? I don't have anything to do.
No. In a case where his consultants finish the job and they see those gaping loopholes in the budget, will you be ready to apologize to him for all the things you have said to him today on this platform? This is just for balance, just a case scenario. I'm not saying his consultants finished with the job. Would you be ready to apologize and embrace him again?
Okay, hypothetically too, if at the end of the day, as it has already been established that what he said amounts to mere blackmail, mere mischief, I want you to also balance it. If by today or tomorrow it is discovered, as it's already been established, that what he said is a mere falsehood, what happens to him? I want to say here that there is no way anybody can bring any audit report that would point to the fact or establish the fact that the president brought 25 trillion naira budget to the Senate. It's not true. So I don't even look at it from the hypothetical point of view where you are coming from. It doesn't follow. Mr. President brought a budget of these figures, 27 trillion.
No.
The Senate, the National Assembly.
Senator Zam, you're getting
I don't see it happening.
What he's saying is now is that, he has backtracked from 2 budgets. We all know he has backtracked from that. He has backtracked from many things. But what he's saying now is that there's 3.7 trillion somewhere that they can't account for as regards project. You can't match it to project in the budget. So that's what he's saying now, that his point now. In a case where his consultants prove it, to be true, that's what I just say. Would you apologize to him and say, okay, let bygones be bygones?
I don't want to say yes or no, because I don't see the scenario you are trying to paint coming to fruition. I don't see it happening.
Okay.
Abdul Ningi's consultant cannot in any way, any scientific, any accounting manner, bring something that is superior to what the appropriation committee of the Senate and House of Reps sat over with himself sitting. I don't see it happening. So let me not commit myself by telling you I'll go this way or that way, because I don't see it happening. And even in hypothetical sense, I don't see it happening. So I will not dignify anybody with that kind of commitment.
Well, Senator, those of you who have been criticizing Senator Ningi are all from the APC.
Yeah.
And that includes, you know, the four of you so far, including Senator Jimo Ibrahim.
No, more. As at yesterday, others, even from PDP, as at yesterday.
Oh, okay. I just wanted to be sure that...
Do your research.
You know, this is not just about APC senators ganging up against PDP senators.
No.
You mean there are PDP senators too who are opposed to what Senator Ningi has said? Are you confirming that to us?
Yes.
Can you name some of them?
Yes, many.
Like who and who?
I won't do that now. I will not do that now. I will not mention their names now. But I know that there are many PDP senators that spoke to me and that they will take their position publicly today as we go to the plenary.
Okay. Well.
All right.
Many northern senators are angered, are angry, and they will take their position very clearly as we go to the chambers this morning.
All right. Just for clarity of doubt, before we let you go. So you had mentioned that what the executive had proposed was a 25 trillion naira budget. However, in its...
it's not 25.
Okay. What was it?
Not 25, 27.5 trillion.
Okay, but it was in...
27
But having scrutinized it, you felt there was a need to bump that up to 28.7 trillion naira, isn't it? Can you, for the sake of argument, just give us a sense as to which areas the Appropriations Committee thought it was necessary to inflate the figures or to increase the figures, and why?
I will leave that to the chairman of the Committee on Appropriation to handle. I am chairman, rules and business.
All right, I hear you have to go.
But the committee,
as we run off, I just want to ask you this. It's a yes or no question. Have you read the budget line item for line item? The full budget? The whole budget?
That was done during the...
Have you read it line item for line item?
During the presentation. Listen. This is how the Senate works. You understand? The Senate will not sit down, you understand, sit down and just pass a budget without scrutinizing the budget. And it's a whole lot of work, you understand. So to answer to treat your curiosity, yes, we did that in the Senate before the budget was finally passed in January.
Okay, that's you. Have a good one.
Well, thank you very much, Senator Titus Zam.